what we're going to do is focus on a web quest to get certain type of data so that we can look at a particular type of function. So the first thing I would do would be send students to a particular website, and the website of interest here has fish length and weight information. And then we would read the information to get a little bit of a background, and then we would decide which of this information we're going to pull. So here we have the length of a particular type of fish, length and its weight in pounds, length in inches, and I'm going to use the average length for the season May-October, and basically pull this data off the table and enter it into my spreadsheet. So this is what it looks like on the spreadsheet, and I did save myself a little time because in this column I typed in 20, but in the cell underneath it I created the formula equals what's above it plus 1, and then I simply selected that cell and copied it down to create my X values. The other data I copied directly off of the spreadsheet and had to enter it one at a time for ordered pairs, but the lengths were incrementing by 1 inch. So what we're going to do is create a chart, and the type of chart I want to create is a scatter plot. So I'm selecting this data, and I go to my charts and select a scatter chart, and it's putting that over here off to the side. And if we look at this scatter chart, it looks like we have a certainly not a linear function, and so now we have to decide what type of function it is. That this may be a power function where the weight in pounds is a particular power of the length in inches. To get confirmation of that, we're going to see if the log of the length and the log of the weight, if that scatter plot ends up being a straight line, which would give us confirmation that it is a power function. So in this cell, I already pre-labeled it. I'm going to put in equals the log of the first measurement in inches, and again, so that you can see what that function was, I typed in the log equal sign equal log of B7, which was the first measurement. So I'm going to do a similar thing for the log of the weight, and clicking on the first weight, and just so that you can see what I used there, I used the log of the first weight, which happened to be in cell C7. So I'm going to select that cell again, and this time copy it down relative so that each of the lengths will have its log there, and again copy this down relative so each of the weights log will be in this location. And now what I want to do is a scatter plot. So I select my log data and select chart, and again I want a scatter chart, and I just want to basically look at this scatter chart, do a linear regression on the log data. Alright, and so I have this pre-labeled down here for the slope of this line and the intercept when you do the best fit, and so you can look it up in the functions. Alright, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure I'm in this cell where I want the slope of the best fit line. I'm going to function, show function browser, and I'm going to start typing in slope, and right there it is. I can come down to the bottom and read the information, and one of the things that you have to be careful of is you enter the y's then the x's to do this function. So I'm going to say insert function. I'm going to close that window. I'm going to come down to where it placed that. Alright, but notice it is the y values comma the x values. So I'm going to click on the y values, and now I have to go highlight those y values to replace that. And it put in the F7 to F32, the location cell locations for my y data. I'm now going to click on the x values and select those or highlight those, and it looks like I have the slope. And I'm going to have to do the same thing for the intercept of the best fit linear regression line. So I'm going to go back. First I place my cursor in that cell. I had pre-labeled it. I'm going to show the function browser, and I'm going to type in intercept, and there it is. So I selected, I read to make sure that's what I want. Select insert function, and I'm going to close this window. Again, you'll see that it's expecting the y values comma the x values. So going back and getting my my y values, then coming back in and clicking on the x numbers and going back and getting those. And so now I have my slope and intercept for my linear regression line, but this is really, because I'm going to place it in a text box, this is really the log of y is equal to the slope times the log of x plus the intercept, but I'm going to put a let's double click this, copy that, come back in here and paste that. And so I need to just clean this up a little bit so the text size is all the same for you to look at, and spread it out a little bit here. So this is basically my equation. Log of y equals 3.35 times log of x minus 4.01. Now transform this back to a power function, and so we would do the work with paper and pencil to just figure out the steps that I need to perform to take that back to a power function. We would probably then take that back to the analog into the digital world using photo booth, and basically I would get this paper and pencil work to help me understand what I have to do to create the coefficient. That coefficient, alright, I'm going to calculate and put in here, and that would be 10, so I'm starting with an equal sign, 10 raised to the intercept